And I think there's been so many player unrest as well, and I just think he'll be gone.
Apparently, Italy are naming their new manager on May the 20th. Conveniently, that comes a day after the FA Cup final.
Yeah. Listen to him. Listen to him.
And PSG haven't named their new manager just yet.
And Chelsea's still very much in the running for the FA Cup final on May the 19th.
I don't think so, Matt. I'd like to see him stay in the Premier League. He's a very, very good coach with a brilliant CV.
So what's gone wrong for him then this season?
Typical Chelsea, really, isn't it? They win the league, whoever's in charge, and they fade away. You know, it's what do you want from your club? Do you want stability? Do you want trophies to come along quite rapidly? Or if you're a Chelsea fan, are you quite happy that your manager then wins the league, your manager wins the league, then you have a downturn the next year, new manager comes through the door, they win the league in their first year, then they have a downturn again.
So is it the extra games this season have been in the Champions League?
There's an element of that, Matty. More. But I think the change, the shift of Chelsea having a really strong backbone, Terry, Lampard, Drogba or Costa, has now wavered slightly. Not quite sure who's playing the centre-halves, not quite sure who's playing the midfield. Centre-forwards not really doing it. So I think the backbone of Chelsea's gone.
Does the squad look stronger now than it did 12 months ago when you've got Nemanja Matic, Diego Costa in there?
There you go, exactly that.
I think we half would have guessed this was going to happen when Antonio Conte was quite critical of his board in pre-season, when players were turning up for sort of semi-medicals and talks and they didn't get them over the line. Ross Barkley was one. Llorente was another one. And then all of a sudden, go January, you have to panic and make a panic signing Olivier Giroud, you know, paying £18 million for him. When you've got Tammy Abraham, you've got guys out on loan. It was almost like Antonio Conte was panic buying for the sake of it to say, I told you in the summer we needed a better squad. Now I've had to go to get on one of Arsenal's, and I use it very loosely, an Arsenal second string player, because that's what Giroud was coming off the bench. When you're talking about a club like Chelsea, you should be buying the best. Morata's a very, very good player, hasn't lived up to it this season. Eden Hazard's been carrying them, Willian's been carrying them. And then a lot of the players this season have been typical Chelsea. That just, I look at someone like Victor Moses, and I watched his performance yesterday, and he's been very quiet for a month and a half, Victor Moses, where he was exceptional last season. So whatever it is about the culture of Chelsea in that dressing room, too many players the following year just go, I'll just go off a percentage.
It's what players at the moment that are in the squad for Chelsea are holding the other players accountable. So when you go on the pitch, you know, and we've gone on about John Terry would make sure that players are held accountable for their actions on the pitch. Lamps would have done it. Costa would have done it. Drogba would have done it. You know, Matic would. I'm trying to figure out what players right now are going to say, come on. I find it hard. Some great quality. There's some great quality there, but I just think you need some proper leaders on that pitch.
Psychologically as well, if you're a Chelsea player, I wonder if, because of all these changes keep happening every 18 months, I wonder if half the players probably just go down a percentage, and I'm talking a percentage, thinking Antonio, the gaffer's
going to be gone.
He's not going to be next season.
Is he summing up their team's performance there?
He saw it their season. And by the way, he's come out with some quotes, by the way, because he said the other day, we're not getting the season we deserve. And he's very clever in what he's saying. He's almost poking Abramovich and jabbing him to say, look, you either back me and we go again in the summer. And I fear for Chelsea, because if Antonio Conte goes, we might lose someone like Eden Hazard to the Premier League.
He's good for the Premier League, though, isn't he?
Amazing for the Premier League. And so we need the best players coming back to the Premier League. And we're looking at Gareth Bale coming back. Certainly Eden Hazard, we do not want to lose him.
No, absolutely. I mean, regardless of where Chelsea are, certainly an impressive performance from Spurs, wasn't it? And also an equally impressive performance again by Man City at Everton, and a blistering first half, wasn't it, gents?
I don't know what else to say about Man City. They just, I don't know. Look at the amount of Everton players sat back thinking, right, we've got you, everything's under control. You know, don't worry about them, they're fine. Oh no, we're not. We're 1-0 down. 1-0 down again. Sane.
That was in 4 minutes.
But that's just the way they are. What do? Do you squeeze them high up the pitch? You know, and they play around you, or do you sit back and say, right, we've got enough players behind the ball? Oh no, we haven't. Sane's going to score a volley 4 minutes in.
Brilliant technique, Dion, isn't it?
The game is different. They've set the bar so high that all the other teams around them are thinking we've had a stinking season. You haven't really had a poor season. It's just City have been.
This is my, and it's a bit of a bold statement, but I'm going to stick with it. This is my best ever goal I have ever seen in the Premier League, and I'll tell you I'll tell you for reasons why when we see the second angle. That's Jesus' finish. Now, Pep Guardiola is almost turning into a sort of NFL coach where he's calling the plays on. And he's saying, so we just pause it there and keep it on there for a pause. So Ederson's going to clip that ball into no one, by the way. And Raheem Sterling's going to make an out-to-in run. Leroy Sané is going to do the same. Look at the movement of Kevin De Bruyne, who's 60, 70 yards away. So Ederson clips it into there. This is all pre-planned, by the way, because Everton have put a high press on. They're stopping City from playing out. Then all of a sudden, 3 or 4 passes later, Jesus gets the header. Now, this is a manager who's looked at Everton and go, right, what if Everton put a high press on? This is what I want you to do. If Everton let us play it from the back, absolutely fine. Look at the movement, look at the pace. De Bruyne knows that he's going to be getting that ball 3 passes earlier.
It's a big claim. It's a big claim.
I'm sticking, Matt, I'm sticking with it because they were brilliant. It's like, as I said before, Pep's calling plays. I've never seen it in the Premier League before. A manager is calling the play and saying, I want you to do this goal.
And you know what, the goal that you just seen, I just seen, as soon as they, not on this Sterling goal, who's had a great season, by the way, Sterling. I believe that Fernandinho just went to sit in from the back too as well. So, yeah, you might be right.
If people at home have never seen the film Escape to Victory, right, Pep Guardiola is Pele. Do you remember a scene when Pele went, give me the ball, I'll do this, goal. What do you think you're doing? Pep's calling plays and plays are going, OK, boss, pass, goal.
If you want some stats in the game, 82% possession for Manchester City. Fernandinho made 164 passes. Everton completed 133. So Fernandinho made more passes than the rest of the Everton team.
There was some crazy stats going around in about an hour mark, and it was the highest possession stats since Opta was formed, which I think was 92, 93. Wayne Rooney, and I think it might have been Gylfi Sigurdsson, completed 5 passes between them, where City players have got like 100. It was just...
And that's his first win in 4 attempts against Everton as well. He's found it tough against Everton.
It was pure dominance. It was like watching a Man City team or a Barcelona team play against a Division 2, Division 3 side. The standard and the bar is so high.
How many records are they going to break this season? Because they're on course to break an awful lot of them. Let's have a look at these. So, most points, Chelsea, 2004-5. The record's 95. City only 11 off them. The biggest points margin, that was United. The record's 18. City only 2 behind.
That's going to go, definitely.
I mean, go through them all. You fancy them.
Well, the goals are going to go, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's go to his Chelsea.
Best goal difference. The majority of them are going to go. I wouldn't think Pep's probably looked at them thinking, I need to break records. I think, he's broke enough records on how his team are playing this season to be, probably winning the league in the end by something like 20 points.
Are you worried?
Incredible.
Are you worried that the Premier League could become...
No, because I love it. Because I think now... I've heard a lot of people say, it's bad for the Premier League, that's City dominating.
You didn't even know what I was going to say.
But I knew what you were going to say, right? Because it's in your eyes. Right?
Go.
Because the eyes never lie, Matt.
Go.
Right? And I'll tell you the reason why it's great for the Premier League, that City are going to win the league by whatever it might be, 16, 20 points, because now it's going to raise the bar from every other coach in the Premier League.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I'm saying that City are going to do this for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons. How long can they dominate like
Well,
this?
it's up to people like Mourinho now. And in that 12-minute rant Mourinho had the other week, there was a lot of it that Mourinho was making sense. And there was one thing he said that I clutched to, and he said, I'm never going to change my style. And I actually thought, you might have to. Because this guy, Pep, is busting the Premier League up like we've never seen before. So you need to maybe change your style, because you look, and very quickly just gone off-piste, you look at the players United have got, they could match City. If they start attacking teams and playing with a different style.
Yeah, I think City will, especially with this guy there, I think they will have their sort of United run of success. United from 92 onwards, I don't know how many times they won it in 5, 6 times in about 8 years. But I think they'll go and do the same thing. I think you're right, they will dominate.
Well, the last 3 champions have failed to even make the top 4.
Yeah.
Listen,
following seasons.
I know we're going way ahead because there's a lot of football and a lot of Champions League football to be played this season. But I would seriously give Man United and Liverpool a chance next season with the right signings and a different approach from Jose and more quality in from Jurgen. I think they'll push City close.
No, I agree. I don't think they'll have another season like they've had this season.
They'll be closer next year.
Yeah, absolutely, because other teams have got to raise their bar. Other teams will know, hold it a minute, right, hold it. We'll look back at these DVDs.
2008-09, last time a team retained the Premier League title. United won it 3 years in a row that time.
The biggest thing for me, for City, watching City this season, the biggest thing, and it's not just De Bruyne and the passing and the goals, it's the work rate they get through when they haven't got the ball. They work so hard. That move that you've just said there, it went from the keeper, there was Sterling and De Bruyne went on his run, and you put it. All that is fantastic, but I bet you any money he does as much work when they haven't got the ball to get it back.
Yeah.
And that's, for me, you know, you've got to tip your hat to the man.
It's almost like artwork when you're watching City play at times.
Well, that's good.
It is.
Artwork is good.
And it's
that's good.
Orchestrated as well.
Oh,
there's another one. Stop it, Don, on fire today.
Pep Picasso.
He is, mate. I don't think we're going overboard with him. And we have some quality managers. We've got Jurgen Klopp. We've got Pochettino. We've got so many. You know, people like Jose Mourinho. We've got so many great managers. But this is the bar. Do we have the conversation? Do we even entertain the conversation? Mo Salah or De Bruyne? Because is it De Bruyne for sure? And I went, I'm pretty sure it's De Bruyne, but I'd like to hang on a couple of more months. But now Salah's gone ahead of it.
Is that 36 for the season, Salah? Something
all comps,
in all comps, something like that's just. I'm going to say it's unheard of because other players have done it, but that is so hard to do.
In your first season.
In what I can still consider to be the best league in the world, he's stood out. You know, when he hasn't scored goals, he's made goals. He's got to be in the reckoning.
He's missed, by the way, at least 10 or 15 sitters.
Get him off.
He hasn't missed as many. He hasn't missed as many as Christian Benteke, has he?
Oh
no,
20 out of 22 big chances this way.
And you know what? I always back Benteke when he's playing against the big clubs. He always gets himself
against his old club.
A couple of good chances, and he just hit the target.
He's gone.
2 goals in 26 games.
Matt, you're looking at a player at the moment who's mentally gone. It's like we know he's got the ability. It's like you want to get him by the scruff of the neck and you want to shake him and you're going to go, come on, because you're 6'4", you're great in the air, you've got a great physique, you've got a turn of pace, you can handle the ball. Now I'm looking at a player, when he's getting his chances, he's half thinking, I don't want this. I don't fancy myself.
Let's talk Champions League. We have to. Liverpool taking on Man City this week. It's a mouth-watering clash, isn't it, between these two?
Is it one of them?
It is for me.
It is. In this comp, definitely.
Well, I think over the course of the season, you back City to come out on top.
Definitely.
Simple as that. But I think in a one-off game, it's been proved already this season, Liverpool can beat City.
Yeah.
I
So,
can't call
See, the first leg's obviously at Anfield, and I've been reading some blogs on what the fans are sort of going to prepare City for, which won't really faze them. It won't really faze Pep because he's played at intimidating stadiums before, but there's going to be flares going off. There's going to be, you know, loads of banners. There's going to be thousands of fans on the streets of Liverpool for the Man City bus to come in. And at Anfield, and I've played there, and I've been very lucky enough to do some comms there in the Champions League, and especially Europa League, and that Man United Dortmund game springs to mind.